the thing with shows like Darling in the Franxx. They give you a glimmer of hope and then they shart all over it. Hi everybody, I'm Tani and I recently watched Darling in the Franxx, so you're gonna hear me rant about it. Back when I was on Annie Charts selecting shows to watch for winter 2018, I came across Darling in the Franxx and then completely looked past it. I mean, at first glance it just looked like a generic mecha show with teens piloting giant robots in a post-apocalyptic world. And I think we have many and more iconic shows of the same kind. And please don't get me wrong, I do have my fair share of mecha shows that I love and enjoy. But today, if I ever come across a mecha show on the list, my first instinct is to just usually ignore it. Because over the years, I feel like mecha shows have just grown lesser in appeal and lesser in numbers as well. At that time, Darling in the Franxx was that one cookie in the cookie jar that I really didn't give a crap about. But thanks to the power of Twitter and the raging surge of my previously suppressed mecha-loving juices because of binge-watching Voltron, I decided to give it a shot. But I think I would have watched it anyway because it was the collaboration of the century. I mean, Studio Triggers and A1 Pictures. The hype around this thing was massive. I had to watch it. And boy oh boy was I in for a whole new roller coaster ride. Darling in the Franxx got my attention in the very first episode, and in the first couple of minutes in fact, because it reminded me of a very Shaft Studio style of storytelling. I know this is a very unpopular opinion, but I don't know, that's just what I felt. As I mentioned earlier, the premise isn't something we haven't seen before. It's teens in a post-apocalyptic world piloting giant biomechanical robots. Nothing we haven't really seen before. And then we also see an array of characters with differing personalities and how their dynamics play out with their counterparts. Still pretty standard. But what really piqued my interest were the tiny little details and the subtle elements that they added, which I wouldn't really associate with a mecha series. Oh, and 02. She's gorgeous. Her character design is so beautiful. She's so cute! Back to what I was saying. The show had some elements of really ambient heavy drama series. Something that I don't think anybody would normally expect out of a mecha show, as I mentioned earlier. The bits of cinematic scenes thrown in every now and then were really pleasing to the eyes, in my opinion, and added a really nice touch to the vibe of the entire show. Another thing that I really liked was how they used the Giant Bird philosophy to introduce us to the functionings of the Franxx, and also how it became the underlying theme for the story, at least for a few episodes. No, but seriously, Darling in the Franxx started off on a great foot. It portrays very naturally how these children are deprived of knowledge about the human body and human nature and this world that they live in, and how that was just so normal for them. It felt genuine, you know? But at the same time, we see these children be very vaguely aware of these supposedly incomprehensible feelings and instincts that they have. One example would be how these kids reacted to kissing. They could not apply any logic or understanding to it, but they seemed to be curious, just like you would expect kids talking about kissing to be. Another great example would be this scene where they're talking about their bodies and the difference in their genders. You know, the one after the scene where their bodysuits melt off? Yeah. They don't seem to be able to sublimate any other reasons for their existence other than piloting the Franxx. This absence of awareness of their bodies just felt so real, and I really liked that. I don't see many people talking about it, but I think that is what made this show stand out for me, and that's what made me like this show so much. I also really like how this show goes about introducing very human and natural concepts like love and romance and physical attraction, despite the inherently sexually heavy theme of this story. I mean, the pilots of the Franxx are literally named after reproductive organs of the flowers. They're not trying to be subtle about this. Even the functioning of the Franxx is so heavily dependent on the chemistry between the two pilots. And what I've noticed is the dynamics of the partner sways between love and understanding and trust and confidence. And sometimes a combination of both. It's very difficult to put in words, to be honest. The true meaning behind man and woman, child and adult, these words seem to take a whole new meaning in their world. It's almost as if human beings are merely a concept and being human is simply a lifestyle. You see these little complexities, these details, all these layers that they've added to the story. This is what I loved about Darling in the Franxx. A story like this requires so much delicate handling and so much refinement to get it right. Slowly as the story progresses, we see the characters get more in touch with their innate human nature. And with that, we see more romantic complications show up. Okay, we all know how this went. Goro likes Ichigo, Ichigo likes Hiro, Hiro likes 02, 02 likes honey-soaked bread, and Futoshi really likes bread. But he also likes Kokoro, but Kokoro likes Mitsuru, and Mitsuru used to like Hiro, and he hates Ikuno, who by the way likes Ichigo. And then he starts liking Kokoro back? You see, this is why my favorite pairing is Zoromu and Miku. But out of all of them, of course, the main pairings were Hiro and 02 and Kokoro and Mitsuru. Weirdly enough, I don't think I have much to say about Hiro and 02. Oh, except 02 is absolutely gorgeous. That has absolutely nothing to do with them as a pair. I just really love 02. While they were the main characters, I personally think that their relationship plays a more significant role in acting as a catalyst for the progression of the rest of the cast. Mainly because they started off on a strong foot to begin with. This odd relationship that Hiro and 02 share plays a very crucial role in the progress of the other characters, because that is what got them questioning what love and attraction is in the first place. It's what set the ball rolling. And this clearly struck a strong chord with Kokoro because goddamn, that girl does not hold back. In all seriousness, I was simultaneously intrigued and weirded out by Kokoro and Mitsuru's relationship. While I had to battle some serious secondhand embarrassment, I do like how they've shown two characters defying rules and acting on their own human curiosity. Now, please don't quote me on this. Teenage pregnancies harbor a lot of conflicting emotions in a human social order. But here, in a very weird sense, and for a genuine lack of better words, it becomes an act of empowerment of sorts. Because it opens up so many new possibilities for these characters. These children now know that they're capable of doing this, and everything they knew before was just impaired knowledge. And since they're the only ones with functioning reproductive systems because, well, the adults are immortal, they become the key to bringing humanity back to normalcy. As you can see, Darling in the Franxx had a lot going for it. There were so many facets and variants remaining to develop. There was so much to do. And then they fucked it up. Initially, they were giving away a certain amount of information for us to make sense out of. They layered plot points, and as viewers, we perceived and understood them. Which was great because it made the whole experience of watching the show very immersive. Until it started working against them. Suddenly, there was just so much happening. So much information being hurled at us with absolutely no explanation whatsoever. I was already wrecking my brains trying to get a hang of this complex plot, and now I gotta deal with this shit? Okay, first of all, what is ape? Ape. Ape. And why are they called Papa? Are they all called Papa? Which one of them is Papa? Because I can't tell a single difference between them. Are they all called Papa because these children were conceived from their sperm? Doesn't that make all of them siblings? Who assigned them to be the heads of the society? Why is the world the way it is? I just have so many questions. And then they answered all of these, most of these questions, in one single episode. Okay, okay. Now we have some information to work with. But the world building went straight out of the window. You see, this is hilarious because this episode was supposed to aid the progression of the series and it ended up throwing it off completely. It was just a horde of pointless information. It was almost as if they were thinking, hey, you know how we gave you all this scoop? Here, take some more. Now make sense out of it. You know how I mentioned earlier that a story like this has so many layers and it needs to be handled with care and delicacy? Yeah, well, they carefully picked up this ball of post apocalyptic complicated AF plot and then they yeeted it across the wall. And things just go consistently downhill from here. Also, can somebody please tell me why did the creators think that a complex plot with an underlying philosophical theme need a freaking alien invasion? The heck? These guys are fighting fleets of Klaxosaurs. And then the Klaxosaur princess shows up and she's called 01. And then you find out that the FranXX is actually made from Klaxosaurs. I'm already lost. Wait, so now the princess and hero are connected inside Strelizia Apis. Apis? Apis. And to top it all off, this group of papas have suddenly revealed themselves to be this shining, shimmering, splendid, white, floaty thingy with not one, but two purple faces. And they call themselves Worm. What the fuck is Worm? There are so many different ways you could have done this. So now this worm tooth thingy has everybody connected telepathically into a mental group chat because, everybody should stay on the same page. And Hero is doing his own usual thing of going deep into the consciousness and emotionally bonding with women with deep set mental issues. While the Nines and Squad 13, like true MVPs, are trying to get the situation under control. And if this wasn't enough, 02 has now joined in on the fun, and the Princess, Hero, and 02 are having this sick mental threesome inside Strelizia Apis. And weirdly enough, it works because it chases the aliens away temporarily. But 02's consciousness is stuck in Strelizia, so obviously these dum-dums have to go to space because who cares if we have to make Earth habitable again? I mean, my best friend's girlfriend is stuck in space. We have to go there, duh. This reminded me of that one episode in Assassination Classroom where Nagisa and Karma go to space like it's a walk down the park. It's not a field trip, guys! And of course, now they're all in space and the squad is fighting the alien fleets and, Hero's able to connect with 02. That's fine. But what I want to talk about right now is the greatest scene in this show. When Hero is able to connect with 02, Hero goes from being one bad drawing to another bad drawing. And 02 goes from being normal sized to a giant 02. What? Why? Just answer me this. Why? What's the point of giant 02? I don't want to see a giant woman. This is not Steven Universe. I'm not Steven. I don't want to see a giant woman. Although she did look really pretty. Maybe I do want to see a giant woman. Damn. I mean, at this point, does the finale even matter? Hero and 02 go back to their usual MO of ditching their friends to run their own agenda, which in this case is chasing after Worm inside a warp gate with a giant bomb and a one-way ticket spouting false promises to their friends about making a safe return back to Earth. At this point, Hero is more Klaxosaur than ever, so he decides to openly fleek a beautiful blue eyeshadow on his lower lash line to complement his now very visible blue horns, perfectly reflecting the matching couple's outfit trend from South Korea. And now they're just floating in space with a giant bomb, fighting alien fleets for years, while their friends are doing a wonderful job at making Earth great again. They finally managed to find Worm after a couple of years of travel, disconnect with each other, reconnect with each other. Somehow, in the middle of all this, their delusional friends managed to defy all laws of science and communicate with them momentarily while they're still in the middle of battle with hundreds of alien fleets. And then, with the power of love and a gigantic bomb, they defeat Worm and sacrifice themselves in the process, and their souls fly away into a star-filled sky like a pair of giant birds. Hey, at least we came full circle, right? But wait, you thought that was the ending? Psych, bitch! I know there's a lot of debate surrounding this ending, but I have a confession to make. I loved it. And there's a specific reason for that. I mean, yeah, everybody in Squad 13 got their happy ending. Goro gets with Ichigo and proves that it is indeed possible to come out of the friend zone. Kokoro and Mitsuru didn't take too long to get busy immediately after their first child. Futoshi also ends up getting some action and becomes a bread connoisseur. Zorume and Miku become teachers because why the hell not? And Ikuno becomes a sickly scientist on a hospital bed and suffers from crippling depression as she watches her friends find love and happiness. Damn. But what I'm really getting at here is the last scene of the finale. They decided to pull the oldest, most classic trick from generic Indian soap operas: reincarnation. Decades later, Hero and Zero Two have reincarnated into two tiny toddlers and they meet again under an auspicious looking sakura tree and a new story begins. I can't do this. I can't do this. Stop. I didn't even bother analyzing the second half of this show. I'm just ranting. There are so many bigger and better YouTubers out there who have done such an in-depth analysis of this show, spoken about the pros and cons and whatnot. I'm just here to rant. I'm a ranter. I'm a classic fangirl who just likes to talk a lot. So, yeah. In conclusion, this is a classic example of what I like to call a PTD, potential turn disappointment. There was so much they could have done with this show, so much they could have worked with. They could have developed the characters more, they could have done so much with the story, the concept, the Jian board philosophy just got lost somewhere in the story. And they didn't do anything about it. They just decided to create drama out of nothing. And that is why a show with so much potential turned into a disappointment. I guess that's it. I mean, like I said, I just wanted to get these feelings off of my chest and into your heads so you can sit and think about everything that I just said. Or not. It's your decision. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. And I will see you guys in my next video.